friends, this is JB with the 14-Day Wisdom Challenge show, and guess what? We've got another big program today, and it's interesting. Just yesterday, after yesterday's show, my marketing and media advisor had called me and said, JB, look, it's getting too long. You're losing followers. People are going to be worried about this because there's so much reading. And you know what? I understood where he's coming from. Yesterday's episode was long. It was strong, but it's not me. See, this is the journey. You've got to decide if you are a one-time watcher, okay? If you're a one-time watcher and you're popping in and you're thinking like, oh, look, I'm just going to, I'm going to just evaluate. I'm just going to get what I can out of this. You're missing the whole purpose of the 14-Day Wisdom Challenge. See, if you're in the 14-Day Wisdom Challenge, a long reading like yesterday is going to do one of two things. It's going to strengthen you or it's going to weaken you, okay? It's going to strengthen you because all you're doing is you are reading along with me, okay? And you are pouring in. When I didn't even have much commentary yesterday. You're reading what you, reading along with me, number one, okay? That's the watch. Because you're watching and reading in one go. This is what you're doing, remember? Watch, read, share. Then you're reading a second time in the middle of the day and a third time. Now, if it's long, it may shake you. It may quake you. You may be saying to yourself, boy, this is so much. This is a lot of reading. It's like 6 pages. Okay. Hey, look, I didn't come up with this. Okay. This thing is rolling. And the momentum is that there are going to be times in the 14-Day Wisdom Challenge. Notice that was 51. So if you are already on the 14-Day Wisdom Challenge and you're on the third or the fourth round of it, guess what? 51 is going to challenge you. If 51 challenges you too much that you're shaken, you may want to start at number 1 because that's where you're at. You're at number 1. That's where we started. But 51, guess what? That's where you got to put the big boy pants on. You got to start pouring into it and you got to say, hey, look, maybe this isn't going to be like JB excitement. It's not me. Look, it's going to shake you off. You notice when Jesus went out to different places, they had crowds of people. You know what he first started doing? He started to separate himself from these people who aren't really doing it for what the purpose is. They weren't really doing they weren't following Jesus for what he really had for them besides the food and the amusements that they saw. They saw all of his healing and prophetic works as amusements. Okay, this is God's wisdom. You can do it yourself. 14-Day Wisdom Challenge, do it. But this is the program, my friends. So this is another tough challenge. I'm not going to be here to your whole life, okay? This is a season for JB. So what I do is I read and I watch and I share. Watch, read, and share. Get them a little bit mixed up myself. Watch, read, and share. So I do the reading really, okay? And then I pour into it again and again every day, okay? You never know what you're gonna get. And if the Lord puts a stretch of passages where it really behooves me to not draw the message out longer with my commentary. I know that there's like 6-7 pages that need to be read. Me adding to it is going to extend your watching time. So rather than that, I'm choosing to minimize that, read it, allow you to read it again, share it, okay, and read it a third time in the evening. Now, if you're doing that and you're cycling through, you're doing the 14-Day Wisdom Challenge, you're seeing where you're at the end of the 14-Day Wisdom Challenge, and then you're continuing forward, guess what? You're gonna have some strength, okay? And when you get to these long periods, these periods where there's like a lot of chapters, not normally not, but in some instances, because of the nature of this particular book, the special insight, it happens to go that way, okay? Mostly we shouldn't have that. But because in this instant it happens to go that way, if it's going to either strengthen you because you're going to press forward. You're going to say, look, ooh, this is tough. It's tough for me to do, but I'm going to keep pressing forward. And that strengthens you. It gives you that endurance. Wisdom's a little bit more than the microwave wisdom, where you pop your popcorn right in the microwave and in 30 seconds, the thing comes out steaming fresh and hot. Sometimes you're trying to make yourself a gourmet meal, okay? And it's going to take a little prep time. And if you want that microwave stuff, then you're going to get microwave wisdom. If you want that gourmet wisdom, that special thing, then sometimes it's going to take you a little extra. Having said that, we've still got another big program today. I would encourage you to take note, and I would encourage you to step forward. Let's see what you got. You got this in you. There's not going to be a lot of long stretches. This one's another one, though. Not as big as yesterday, but another one. Elihu rebukes Job's 3 friends. So these 3 men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Bezite, the family of Ram, burned with anger. He burned. You ever burned with anger? Oh, I love burning with anger, man. I tell you what, it feels so good because you're like burning. It's like I'm getting that fire going, you know. But you tell you what, you better know who's in charge, okay? If it's righteous, fine. If it's your own ego and vanity, tell you what, ain't gonna do you no good. It'll feel good, but you're gonna burn in the end. He burned with anger at Job because he justified himself rather than God. He burned with anger also at Job's 3 friends because they hadn't found no answer, although they had declared Job to be in the wrong. Now, Elihu had waited to speak to Job because they were older than he. And when Elihu saw, you ever try to give some advice to someone who's older? Man, they already know so much. You can't teach a person who knows everything. Isn't that tough? That's a tough one. And when Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these 3 men, he burned with anger. And Elihu, son of Barachel, the Buzite, answered and said, I am young in years, and you are aged. Therefore I was timid and afraid to declare my opinion to you. I said, let days speak, and many years teach wisdom. But is the spirit in man, the breath of the Almighty that makes him understand? Is not the old who are wise, nor the aged who understand what is right? Therefore I say, listen to me. Let me also declare my opinion. Behold, I waited for your words. I listened for your wise sayings while you searched out what to say. I gave you my attention, and behold, there was none among you who refuted Job, or who answered his words. Beware lest you say, we have found wisdom. God may vanquish him, not a man. He has not directed his words against me, and I will not answer him with your speeches. They are dismayed. They are answer no more. They have not a word to say. And shall I wait because they do not speak, because they stand there and answer no more? I also will answer with my share. I also will declare my opinion. For I am full of words. The spirit within me constrains me. Behold, my belly is like wine that has no vent, like new wineskins ready to burst. I must speak that I may find relief. I must open my lips and answer. I will not show partiality to any man or use flattery towards any person. For I do not know how to flatter, else my maker would soon take me. Well, I tell you what, that's like me sometimes. I've got to say it. It's like this is getting off track. This is getting off track, and we've got to get it back. And I gotta say, Elihu rebukes Job. But now hear my speech, O Job, and listen to all my words. Behold, I open my mouth, the tongue in my mouth speaks. My word declares the uprightness of my heart, and what my lips know, they speak sincerely. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. Answer me if you can. Set your words in order before me. Take your stand. Behold, I am toward God as you are. I too was pinched out from a piece of clay. Behold, no fear of me need terrify you. My pleasure will not be heavy upon you. Surely you have spoken in my ears. I have heard the sound of your words. You say I am pure without transgression. I am clean, and there is no iniquity in me. Behold, he finds occasions against me. He counts me as his enemy. He puts my feet in the stocks and watches all my paths. Behold, in this you are not right. I will answer you, for God is greater than man. Why do you contend against him, saying he will answer none of man's words? For God speaks in one way, and in two, though man does not perceive it, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on man, when they slumber on their beds, then he opens the ear of men and terrifies them with warnings. You ever had that dream and you're thinking, wow, this one was huge. Boy, I tell you what, I've had some good ones and some bad ones. When I get the ones that are terrifying, I rebuke, I repent and I pray to the Lord. I tell you what, He will speak to you day and night. You got to just pay attention. That He may turn aside from his deed and conceal pride from a man. He keeps back his soul from the pit, his life from perishing by the sword. Man is also rebuked with pain on his bed and with continual strife in his bones, so that his life loathes bread and his appetite the choicest food. His flesh is so wasted away that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. His soul draws near the pit, and his life to those who bring death. If there be for him an angel, a mediator, one of the 1,000, to declare to a man what is right for him, and he is merciful to him, and says, deliver him from going down to the pit, I have found a ransom. Let his flesh become fresh with youth. Let him return to the days of his youthful vigor. Then man prays to God, and he accepts him. He sees his face with a shout of joy, and he restores a man to his righteousness. He sings before men and says, I sinned and perverted what was right, and it was not repaid to me. He has redeemed my soul from going down into the pit, and my life shall look upon the light. Behold, God does all these things twice, 3 times with a man, to bring back his soul from the pit, that he may be lighted with the light of life. Pay attention, O Job, listen to me. Be silent, and I will speak. If you have any words, answer me. Speak, for I desire to justify you. If not, listen to me. Be silent, and I will teach you wisdom. Ooh, he says, I will teach you wisdom. Elihu asserts God's justice. Ooh, justice. What are we talking about? Justice, sovereignty, okay? His ability, God's ability to be what? Who he wants to be, okay? But he is righteous. He's not going to give us lies, okay? He's just. Then Elihu answered and said, hear my words, you wise men, and give ear to me. You who know, for the ear tests words as the palate tastes food. Let us choose what is right. Let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job has said, I am in the right, and God has taken away my right. In spite of my right, I am counted a liar. My wound is incurable, though I am without transgression. What man is like Job, who drinks up scoffing like water, who travels in company with evildoers and walks with wicked men? For he has said, it profits a man nothing that he should take delight in God. Therefore hear me, you men of understanding. Far be it from God that he should do wickedness, and from the Almighty that he should do wrong. For according to the work of a man he will repay him. According to his ways he will make it befall him. He's just basically throwing it down. That Job and the boys out there, they're all in a funk. Of a truth, God will not do wickedly, and the Almighty will not pervert justice. Who gave him charge over the earth, and who laid him down over the whole world? If he should set his heart to it, and gain to himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh would perish together, and man would return to dust. If you have understanding, hear this, listen to what I say. Shall one who hates justice govern? Will you who condemn him who is righteous and mighty, who says to a king, worthless one, and to nobles, wicked man, who shows no partiality to princes, nor regards the rich more than the poor, for they are all the work of his hands. In a moment they die. At midnight the people are shaken and pass away, and the mighty are taken away by no human hand. For his eyes are on the ways of man, and he sees all his steps. That's right, the Lord does see all of our steps. Your step, my step. There is no gloom or deep darkness where evildoers may hide themselves. For God has no need to consider a man further, that he should go before God in judgment. He shatters the mighty without investigation and sets others in their place. Thus, knowing their works, he overturns them in the night, and they are crushed. He strikes them for the wickedness in a place for all to see, because they turned aside from following him and had no regard for his ways. So that they caused the cry of the poor to come to him, and he heard the cry of the afflicted. When he is quiet, who can condemn? When he hides his face, who can behold him? Whether it be a nation or a man, that a godless man should not reign, that he should not ensnare the people. For has anyone said to God, I have borne punishment, I will not offend any more. Teach me what I do not see. If I have done iniquity, I will do it no more. Will he then make repayment to suit you because you reject it? For you must choose and not I. Therefore declare what you know. Men of understanding will say to me, and the wise man who hears me will say, Job speaks without knowledge. His words are without insight. Would that Job were tried to the end, because he answers like a wicked man. For he adds rebellion to his sin. He claps his hand among us and multiplies his words against God. I was kind of getting that same sense earlier from Job too. It was kind of like, Job, you're really you're getting in the funk, but you're kind of trying to bring God down in there with you, And here he is putting it down. And Elihu answered and said, Do you think this to be just? Do you say it is my right before God that you ask, what advantage have I? How am I better off than if I have sinned? I will answer you and your friends with you. Look at the heavens and see, and behold the clouds, which are higher than you. If you have sinned, what do you accomplish against him? And if you transgress and are multiplied, what do you do to him? If you are righteous, what do you give to him? Or what does he receive from your hand? Your wickedness concerns a man like yourself, and your righteous a son of man. Because of the multitude of oppressions, people cry out. They call for help because of the army of the mighty. But none says, Where's my God, my maker? Who gives song in the night? Who teaches us more than the beasts of the earth and makes us wiser than the birds of heaven? There they cry out, but he does not answer because of the pride of evil men. Surely God does not hear an empty cry, nor does the Almighty regard it. How much less when you say that you do not see him, that the case before him, and you are waiting for him. And now, because his anger does not punish, and he does not take much note of transgression, Job opens his mouth in empty talk. He multiplies words without knowledge. He's just spewing it. Okay? I think this is the last one. Elihu extols God's greatness, and Elihu continued and said, Bear with me a little, and I will show you. This is the stretch. Right now you're thinking, JB, oh my gosh, I've got to read this 2 more times, and I've got to share something. That's right. This is the test. Sometimes the test is, do you have the endurance to get through? And that's part of wisdom. Wisdom isn't always like the pop it out of the quick oven. It's not fast food. This sometimes is quality. Quality takes some time sometimes. All you know that. Everyone who's needed something of quality has had to wait a little bit longer. What about your Mercedes dealership? Okay, you bring that in, it takes a little time to get to the sale. It takes a little time as you talk things through. Okay, what about other high-end restaurants? Okay, they don't pop that food out of the microwave. They take some time, prep it, make sure you're all right, get things going, relax a little bit. You need to relax, my friends, tell you what. And Elihu continued and said, Bear with me a little, and I will show you, for I have yet something to say on God's behalf. I will get my knowledge from afar and ascribe righteousness to my Maker. For truly my words are not false. One who is perfect in knowledge is with you. Behold, God is mighty and does not despise any. He is mighty in strength of understanding. He does not keep the wicked alive, but gives the afflicted their right. He does not withdraw his eyes from the righteous, but with kings on thrones he sets them forever, and they are exalted. And if they are bound in chains and caught in the cords of affliction, then he declares to them their work and their transgressions, that they are behaving arrogantly. He opens their ears to instruction and commands that they return from iniquity. If they listen and serve him, they complete their days in prosperity and their years in pleasantness. But if they do not listen, they perish by the sword and die without knowledge. The godless in the heart cherish anger. They do not cry for help when he binds them. They die in youth. Their life ends among the cult prostitutes. Ooh, the cult prostitutes. That doesn't sound, that sounds like some nasty tramps. Oh, he delivers the afflicted by their affliction and opens their ear by adversity. He also lures you out of distress into a broad place where there is no cramping, and what was set on your table was full of fatness. but you are full of the judgment on the wicked. Judgment and justice seize you. Beware lest wrath entice you into scoffing, and let not the greatness of the ransom turn you aside. Will your cry for help avail to keep you from distress or the force of your strength? Do not long for the night when peoples vanish in their place. Take care. Do not turn to inequity. For this you have chosen rather than affliction. Behold, God is exalted in his power. Who is a teacher like him? Who has prescribed for him his way? Or who could say, you have done wrong? Remember to extol his work, of which men have sung. All mankind has looked on it, and man beholds it from afar. Behold, God is great, and we know him not. The numbers of his years are unsearchable, for he draws up the drops of water. They distill his mist in rain, which the skies pour down, and drop on mankind abundantly. Can anyone understand the spread on the clouds, the thunderings of his pavilion? Behold, he scatters the lightning about him and covers the roots of the sea. For by these he judges people. He gives food in abundance. He covers his hands with lightning and commands it to strike the mark. It crashes, declares its presence. The cattle also declare that he rises. What do we got? One last. Elihu proclaims God's majesty. All this also my heart trembles and leaps out of its place. Keep listening to the thunder of his voice. You see that? I'm even struggling too. Right now I'm like, oh man, it's again. We've got one more. Can I do it, God? Absolutely I can do it. And so can you, my friends, my brothers and sisters. Keep listening to the thunder of his voice and the rumbling that comes from his mouth. Under the whole heaven he lets it go, and his lightning to the corners of the earth. After his voice roars. He thunders with his majestic voice, and he does not restrain the lightnings when his voice is heard. God thunders wondrously with his voice. He does great things that we cannot comprehend. To the snow, he says, fall on the earth. Likewise to the downpour, his mighty downpour. He seals up the hand of every man, that all men whom he made may know it. Then the beasts go into the lairs and remain in their dens. From its chamber comes the whirlwind, and cold from the scattering winds. By the breath of God ice is given, and the broad waters are frozen fast. He loads thick clouds with moisture, the clouds scattering his lightning. They turn around and around by his guidance to accomplish all that he commands them on the face of the habitable world. Whether for correction or for his land or for love, he causes it to happen. Hear this, O Job. Stop and consider the wondrous works of God. Do you know how God lays his command upon them and causes the lightning of the cloud to shine? Do you know the balancing of the clouds, the wondrous works of him who is perfect in knowledge? You whose garments are hot, when the earth is still because of the south wind, can you, like him, spread out the skies, hard as a cast metal mirror? Teach us what we shall say to him. We cannot draw up our cast because of the darkness. Shall it be told him that I would speak? Did a man ever wish that he would be swallowed up? And now no one looks on the light when it is bright in the skies, when the wind has passed and cleared them. Out of the north comes a golden splendor. God is clothed with awesome majesty. The Almighty, we cannot find him. He is great in power, justice and abundance, righteousness. He will not violate. Therefore, fear him. He does not regard any who are wise in their own conceit. Wow. Guess what? The Lord answers. Now we get more insight, my friends. Now we get more insight. And guess what? Tomorrow, we're going to tackle this. And if this is 10 chapters long, we are pouring in. And if it's one chapter pouring in, we are pressing forward. We are on the march. We are on the move. My friends, get wisdom, get insight, get it now. Let's do this. Yeah.